Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear students, welcome to this online lecture series of Hera English School Standard 9th for the subject of Science 2. So in the last lecture we had finished with chapter number 7, Environmental Management. And now today we are going to start with chapter number 8, Useful and Harmful Microbes. Dear students, as you can see, in this chapter we are going to discuss about useful and harmful microorganisms. And the name of those microorganisms are given over here. We are going to discuss useful microorganisms like lactobacilli, rhizobium, yeast, and harmful microorganisms like Clostridium and others. So this chapter is basically based on microbes. So microbes are the microorganisms. They are so minute that we cannot see them, but they are playing a role in our life. Some of them are useful to us, some of them are harmful to us. So these microorganisms, small living organisms, how they are useful to us and how they are harmful to us, we are going to discuss in this chapter one by one. So let us start with useful microorganisms. Okay, first we'll discuss about useful microorganisms, and then we'll discuss in the next lecture, in the next video, we'll talk about harmful microorganisms. So dear students, let us start with the first useful microorganism, lactobacilli. So for this to understand, there is an activity which is given over here, that you have to take a fresh buttermilk on glass slide, okay, with methylene blue, and we have to put cover slip over it, and then we have to observe it under 10x objective of compound microscope with a powerful 60x objective. And what we'll notice, it will be blue rod shaped organisms as it is shown in this diagram, okay, moving around, and they are lactobacilli, a kind of bacteria. So they are minute and rectangular in shape. The shapes are rectangular, and lactobacilli are anaerobic bacteria. Means what? That they can produce energy without the use of oxygen. Okay. So this is what we are able to see about lactobacilli. But how this lactobacilli is useful to us? Now see what happened. A milk consists of a sugar called as lactose, and this lactose get converts into lactic acid by lactobacilli bacteria. So this is role played by lactobacilli, that they convert lactose present in the milk into lactic acid, and this process is called as fermentation. Now what happens because of this? The pH of milk decreases. Now if there is a pH value of milk, okay, it decreases. It comes to acidic range, and in that particular moment there is coagulation of milk proteins. So a milk which consists of sugar, a milk which consists of protein, a milk which consists of fat molecules, so many things in it. So protein gets separated due to decrease of pH, and the pH got decreased. It's all because of formation of lactic acid. And who did this? This did the formation of lactic acid done by lactobacilli. Now when pH got decreased, protein gets coagulated, and that protein, milk protein, gets separated from the constituent milk, and this is what happens when milk changes into yogurt. So this is how yogurt is formed, and yogurt, we know, it has a sour taste, and due to lactic acid, it is because of lactic acid, the low pH destroy harmful microbes present in the milk, and this is why yogurt is useful to us. So in this whole process, lactobacilli has played a very important role converting lactose of the milk into lactic acid, which results into coagulation of milk protein, and that milk protein separates as yogurt. Okay, so this is how lactobacilli is useful to us. Now this part, use your brain, and do you know this all part has got eliminated because of the reduction in syllabus, okay, but still you can read and have some good knowledge of it. Lactobacilli, these are added to eatables. Okay, such eatables are healthy because they kill harmful bacteria like Clostridium, which we are going to discuss further part in alimentary canal and help in improvement of immunity. Okay, moving ahead. So now uses of lactobacilli. Let us see how lactobacilli is useful to us. So various milk products like yogurt, buttermilk, ghee, cheese, shrikhand, etc. they are obtained from fermentation of milk. Okay, lactobacilli fermentation is useful for large scale production of cider, cocoa, pickles of vegetables, etc. Lactobacilli and some other useful microbes taken together are used to treat abdominal discomfort. So many of the time when anyone suffers from stomach pain or some discomfort in stomach, like diarrhea or loose motion, or doctor at that time doctor recommends you to have yogurt or something made up of curd. Okay, because they contain lactobacilli bacteria, and lactobacilli is useful bacteria, and they remove this harmful bacteria from our body. Living fodder offered to this domestic cattle like cows, buffaloes is fodder fermented with help of lactobacilli. And the lactobacilli fermentation process is used to make wine, some types of bread. Okay, so not only to human beings but also to animals like cows and buffaloes, the fodders which are given, they are also fermented with lactobacilli. So these all are the uses of lactobacilli bacteria. Now moving ahead with the second type of useful bacteria, that is rhizobium. And again, to understand this activity which is given over here, so directly moving to the main part of this is rhizobium. You can see the diagram of rhizobium over here, how it looks under microscope. Okay, and the important thing we have to note here, that we have to see the root nodules of leguminous plants. Now what are leguminous plants? Leguminous plants are those plants which give us legumes like dal, cereals and pulses, gram, chickpea, chana, which we call as all these pulses plants, and the leguminous plants, they have rhizobium over their root nodules. Okay, now here the important thing is role and importance of rhizobium. What rhizobium does over there: rhizobium living in root nodules supply nitrates and nitrites and amino acids to the plant. Now how they do so? Rhizobium, they have this ability to fix nitrogen from the atmosphere, and they convert that nitrogen into nitrates and nitrites and amino acids. So nitrates, nitrites, and amino acids, they are given to the plant by rhizobium bacteria. And in exchange, what they get energy in the form of carbohydrate. Rhizobium get energy from plants in the form of carbohydrates. So this is a relationship between plant and rhizobium, and such a mutual beneficial relationship is called as symbiosis. This is a symbiosis relationship which is present between plant and rhizobium. So rhizobia produce nitrogenous compounds from atmospheric nitrogen. However, for this process of nitrogen fixation, they need leguminous plants like beans, sweet pea, as I said, use soya bean as a host. So beans and pulses are rich in proteins due to nitrogenous compound made available by rhizobia. So proteins which are found in the beans and pulses plants, it is because of nitrogenous compound which is made available by rhizobium bacteria. So this is a useful bacteria for us as well. Now what happens nowadays? After harvesting leguminous crop, leftover roots and other plant parts are deliberately dumped in the farm soil to maintain its bacterial population. So this is the practice nowadays followed by the farmers. What they do, after cutting down the plants crop, they keep those leftover of plants like roots in the field itself. So this increases. Okay, the use of rhizobium has helped to reduce the use of chemical fertilizers and thereby their adverse effects. Now it has also helped to reduce expenses on fertilizer and thus works to benefit to farmers. And nowadays seeds are coated with rhizobial solution. Solutions of rhizobial are taken of powder before sowing, and after sowing, rhizobia enter the plantlets. This is called rhizobial inoculation. This experiment has helped in the supply of nitrogen to cereal and other crops besides leguminous crops. So not only to leguminous crops but to other crops as well, if these seeds which are coated with rhizobial solutions, if they are taken and sown, so the plants which are always in need of nitrogen, because nitrogen is a very important part for all the types of plants, it's a kind of mineral for them. So besides leguminous crops, other crops are also get benefited by this. So this is one of the important microorganism, rhizobium, which is helping us not only for our plant production but also to other types of plants. So today we have discussed about two types of useful microorganism, lactobacilli and rhizobium. So in the next lecture we'll discuss some other topic of this chapter, an important microorganism as well. By the time you read this part, inshallah next time we'll discuss further topic of the chapter. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.